a whole lot of restaurants, it seems, and it's hard to open, to be honest, to open a newspaper or go onto a news site in New Zealand without news that a restaurant here or there is closing. Fork and Brewer, the latest, I think, in Wellington. And some quite big-name restaurants are simply closing their doors. I'd also observe it's bloody hard to find lunch in Wellington right now, and all restaurants around the country seem to be closed on Tuesday. You might have thought that with a change in government, with the property market bouncing back, with low unemployment, that our hospo industry was getting back on its feet after the decimation of COVID. But it seems to me, as a casual observer, that the recovery in this sector is stuttering. So what is going on? Well, to find out, we are joined now by an old mate of mine, Mike Egan, who is the National President of the Restaurant Association. How are you, Mike?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
All right, look, but the industry isn't, mate. Where's the bounce? Where's the post-COVID bounce? It just seems it's really tough out there for hospos still.
Yeah, it is actually. I was a bit the way you put it. Yeah, there is. I mean, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there are some bright spots. I mean, there's some great new openings in Auckland. Auckland seems a bit more vibrant than Wellington at the moment. And Christchurch is good, and there's some great places around the provinces. Obviously, you can get a good meal in Havelock and Gisborne, and the Mount and wherever. So it's not all doom and gloom, but look, there are challenges. It's such a fickle business. It's not a very profitable business, but historically it never has been. Internationally, it's not either. It's just we go through cycles, and the election. Come on, form a government, and let's get moving. But we all sort of seem a bit frozen.
Yeah. Mike, how much of this is down to, and I notice in several instances I've seen it's when leases for restaurant premises have come up, and clearly landlords feeling a pinch have banged up rents, which clearly affects the bottom line, and also the issue of staffing, with unemployment still very low traditionally, and that ready supply of travelling foreign tourists or people here on visitors' visas. Are those two of the bigger factors in terms of what is perceived to be a downturn?
Yeah, look, you've hit the nail on the head with leases. Restaurants are small manufacturing businesses as well. So when we sign a lease, it's not like a shoe shop where we can just bring in some boxes of shoes and a counter. We have to put in quite a bit of infrastructure, extraction, toilets, grease traps and so on. And so when it's expensive to put these in, and when the lease comes up, we need to sign long leases because we can't just pick up sticks and move down the road to a slightly cheaper rent. We're sort of stuck there. So there are some of the ones you talked about. Yeah, their leases came up for renewal, and they just I'm not sure whether the landlords were putting them up. One of them I talked to, they said no, their landlords hasn't put their rent up for 5 years, and it's good, but they just with Let's Get Wellington Moving, I know it's a bit of a sore point that they're scared about 3 or 4 or 5 years of disruption. Look what happened to places in Albert Street in Auckland with the Crossrail link.
And I've got to say, central Wellington is a pretty depressing place right now. It doesn't have the vibe that it used to.
No, we were just discussing it this morning at a cafe I had breakfast at, and we're calling it shabby. And so we'll get a brand new Golden Mile, and with 6 months it'll be shabby, because if they're not cleaning what they've got now and keeping it pristine, where's the team that are going to do it when it's done? Because they haven't put that in the budget, so it'll just become shabby in 6 months, and we'll have I've noticed there's some places here they've put water drippers on the outside of their building, so homeless people can't sit in their doorway.
On the alcoves. They've done that just outside our place in Manor Street. They've actually removed one of the alcoves. And the cold weather helps too.
Yeah, the 24-hour convenience has put drippers on the side of their building on Guzney and Cuba to stop the homeless people.
There's water dripping down, so you can't sleep under the eaves.
That's right. Yeah, they've put I had a look at it, and it's an alkaline hose and they've just got little pinholes in it.
That's a waste of water, though. We're already losing lots of water in Wellington. Maybe you could get all the leaks hooked up to the drippers, and we'd kill two birds with one stone. Just saying, Mike. Mike, I wonder too if there's anything else behind this. Have we as a nation, or is modern Western society less into the idea of going out for a meal? Have, Uber Eats and stuff. Oh, mind you, I suppose you're still getting the food from the restaurant then. Have there been or are there behavioural and societal changes against the idea of going out? Obviously, COVID affected things directly for a period of time, but I wonder if our behaviours have changed.
Well, no, I think the opposite, because in a digital world, people are really keen for more analogue experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing more analogue than sitting down and breaking bread with someone.
Yeah, that's true.
And yes, there are people working from home, but also companies realise they need to have their teams together. So we're finding, at my business, we're doing lots of team dinners and things where they want the team to catch up and to connect with each other rather than just talk to each other online. And so, and the bookings for coming up for Christmas have just been phenomenal at the moment. The companies are realising they have to do this because this is part of company culture.
The work Christmas lunch. God, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse. I also want to ask you, what about changes to the employment law that we can expect under this government? Some softening in the minimum wage positions, 3-month trials probably back as well. Could that help the industry? I mean, I think everyone that we know, like most places are, chefs are earning way more than the living wage. I mean, two of my chefs, and one of them's a refugee, was a former refugee. They've got rental properties now they've bought, they make enough money, they're doing really well. And a lot of staff, the tipping has really increased, and so people are getting great tips as well. So the wages thing, we're all going, we want to pay our staff as much as possible. No one goes into the restaurant industry to enrich themselves. We're not crypto kings or anything like that. People go in there to open restaurants because, they've got creative ideas, and, whether it's food or decor or service or uniforms or the whole gamut. And we are seeing there are backpackers coming back into the country. A lot of people the staffing shortage is diminishing, that's for sure. And people there's some good schemes out there. The Restaurant Association has a scheme called Hospo Start, where they take people that are on the job seekers benefit and work with the government department there, and that's been really successful because a lot of these kids have never even eaten in a full service restaurant. So they sort of have a bit of a tour and get the idea of exactly what it takes to work in a high-paced cafe. And so that's been really successful. So there are lots of initiatives out there, and everyone's trying really hard. But, the borders are opening, the tourists are coming, so it's not all doom and gloom. I think this is just a bit of a glitch. Yeah. All right, Mike. I'm glad to hear that. I thank you for your time. That is Mike Egan from the Restaurant Association. Okay, and maybe it's just people... Maybe is it such a big deal when a restaurant closes? Well, it always seems to be front page news and everything. Maybe the reporters that write those stories are getting free meals. Maybe that's the reason there are so many stories about this. Oh, we'll try and help you out. Sean, restaurants need convenient parking, but councils are continually removing parking. Yeah, that's a good point. Sean, you could get a dripper hooked up to your broken fire hydrant, Sean Chesden. Can I be honest? I suddenly recognise I walked down the Manor Street here. There are drips, and I thought, why doesn't someone fix the awnings? So that's to stop people sleeping on the street outside. I never realised that before. I'm so thick sometimes I just miss stuff, don't I?